Well, let's have a look at the 2024 Silicon Valley Auto Show. Now, I went to the LA Auto Show last November, and that's a much, much bigger show than this one. But I still had a very good time. I was only there maybe an hour and a little bit. But still, quite a few things to see. Let's start with the Toyota Prius. I came away with the exact same impression here that I did in LA, which is I don't really get it. It's a nice looking car, but what I don't get is the instrument panel. I have no idea why they designed it like that. I don't know how you're supposed to use it. If you see that small dashboard right in front, looks okay here, but my camera is way lower than it should be. This is what it looks like in the driving position, and you can't even see that little dashboard. So I don't know why it's there. I don't know how you're supposed to see it. I tried adjusting the wheel and it just was completely wrong, so I just don't get it. And here's a car that I'm actually a little bit surprised they're still selling, but it's definitely an interesting one. This is the Toyota Mirai. Mirai means future in Japanese. Yeah, it's a nice looking car. I kept hearing complaints that the hydrogen fuel cell cars aren't very practical and the refueling stations are usually not working. But they're still selling this, so I guess people must be buying it. Here's the Toyota Supra, outside of my budget, but and it's also a little too small than I would like, but it's basically a BMW. But here is the GR86, much more affordable car, and has a lot of power. I think it has over 200 horsepower in like a 2.5 liter engine. Yeah, and I was surprised I was able to get in it. One thing about this show, at least on this day that I came, it's much less crowded than the LA Auto Show, and so it's pretty easy to sit in these cars, even pretty exclusive cars. But yeah, got a stick shift, so that's a nice thing. But yeah, a little too small for me, even though it's within budget. And here's the Corolla hatchback. Yeah, I was surprised to see this, and it's surprised how impressed I was with it. You know, it's very cheap, and just a couple years ago, cars this cheap felt really cheap, but this year they don't feel that way at all to me. Every car I tried felt really, really good inside, and so yeah, it seems like things have really improved. And here's the Corolla Hybrid. Also very nice sedan model. I think it gets like 50 miles per gallon. And for a hybrid, it's, I think it said it's like 25,000. It depends which trim you get, of course. But that's really good. A few years ago, I really did not like Volkswagen. I would get in their cars and you'd see rows of buttons where each button had a different alignment, and it just felt really cheap, even though they weren't cheap. I've changed my mind since then. They seem really quality cars, as good as anything else I see. And yeah, here's the Jetta. Still not a brand I'm very interested in, but I was still quite impressed. It's a very nice dashboard there. I don't remember what trim level this is, but yeah, it was nice. Nothing remarkable, but nice. I love Porsche. Now I can't afford any of them, but I really, really love Porsche. And so this, I believe, is the 911 GT3. Optioned out, they're probably a couple $100,000. And this is the Taycan, which I think is about 100,000. Probably that's pretty close to the base price. But yeah, let's just enjoy these cars. And now we get to Lucid. And this is the Lucid because they only had one here. Whereas in LA, I think they had like 5. But yeah, because it's less crowded here, I got a much better look at it at this here than I did in LA. And there's the frunk. Yeah, I see quite a few of these around nowadays. And I think they look okay, but the interior, now that I see them, this is really, really nice. Nice glass panels here. Look very well designed. I think this looks way better than Tesla's. And Tesla was at this show too, but I skipped that area. But yeah, this is... I was highly impressed. The Kia Forte. Now, I didn't notice these in LA, although I'm sure they were there. But this is a very strong contender for my next car once my lease runs out in August, because there's a 200 horsepower version with a stick shift. That retails for $25,000, which is a couple thousand less than the car I was planning on. And yeah, it's something to consider for sure. Now, Kia and Hyundai leases are pretty expensive, very high money factor. But yeah, I'll definitely be looking at that, maybe for a purchase instead of a lease. But you know me, Honda, all the way for me. But as I said, I will definitely look at the Kia Forte. So this is the Civic Sport, which they did not have in LA. I think they had the Touring in LA. So this trim is available in a stick shift, but it doesn't have very much power. In fact, it has less power than my old 2016 Civic, which was bottom of the line. And here's the Honda Accord. I forgot which trim level this is. Seems to be a pretty high one though. But yeah, I have a 2021 Accord right now. I do think the new Accords look quite a bit nicer than mine. But I think I'm done with Accord after one iteration because they're just too long for me. I much more enjoyed the size of the Civic. So that's the show as we look at this Mustang. One of the nicer retro designs I've seen. But I had a very good time. I didn't plan to stay very long. I didn't plan on looking at any SUVs because it doesn't take long before every SUV looks like every other SUV, whether you're talking about a Niro or a Lotus. So I'm more interested in just regular cars. But hope you enjoyed this.